Meet the man who declared himself Emperor of the United States. He wasn't even crazy. Oh no, he wasn't. In fact, this 19th century legend actually made it work. Ladies and gentlemen, bow down to the one, the only, Emperor Norton, America's most beloved monarch who had no power, no army, no throne. And yet, somehow, an entire city respected him. Our story kicks off in 1859, in the wild, gold-dusted streets of San Francisco, a city that was just crazy enough to let this fly. Enter Joshua Abraham Norton, a businessman whose fortune took a nosedive, courtesy of some bad rice investments. But unlike the rest of us, Norton didn't just drown his sorrows in whiskey. No, he came up with a solution. Why not just declare yourself emperor? Makes perfect sense, right? So, on September 17th, 1859, in a move of absolute audacity, Joshua Norton walked into a San Francisco newspaper office and issued a proclamation that he was now the Emperor of the United States. No election, no coup. Just boom, he's emperor. And because he had flair, he threw in Protector of Mexico for good measure. Why? Because why stop at one country when you can rule two? Gotta think big. Here's where it gets weird. And oh, it gets weird. People in San Francisco went along with it. The locals just kind of shrugged and said, "Sure, why not? Hail, Emperor Norton." And for the next 21 years, Emperor Norton became a full-blown San Francisco institution. He strutted through the streets in his royal uniform, a second-hand blue military jacket adorned with golden epaulets, a beaver hat, and a cane. He issued decrees like a true emperor should, of course. My personal favorite? His demand to abolish the United States Congress, declaring them as a bunch of corrupt incompetents. Can't argue with him on that one. In another decree, Norton ordered a bridge be built across the San Francisco Bay. People laughed at that idea, until the Golden Gate Bridge showed up decades later. Who's laughing now? But here's the kicker. Norton wasn't just some loony guy that people ignored. He was adored. Local businesses accepted his currency, known as Norton bucks, even though it wasn't, real money. The police, they saluted him in the streets. Restaurants reserved the best tables for him. When his royal coat started looking a little shabby, the actual San Francisco Board of Supervisors chipped in and bought him a brand new uniform. He even had international recognition. When he sent letters to Queen Victoria, because of course he did, he expected a diplomatic response. Sure, she probably never wrote back, but Norton didn't care. He knew his worth. Emperor Norton strolled his empire until January 8th, 1880, when he collapsed on a street corner and passed away. The city of San Francisco, showing how much they genuinely loved him, gave him a grand funeral attended by over 10,000 people. But his legacy? It lived on. Decades later, people still talk about Emperor Norton Noam, the man who ruled nothing and everything at the same time. And get this, some folks even petitioned to rename the Bay Bridge in his honor. Because when you declare yourself emperor, you might not technically get a palace, but you sure do get immortality in the history books. So, next time someone tells you to be realistic with your dreams, just remember Joshua Norton.